Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Utah has a very interesting past, and the job of preserving that history is what the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers do best. Let's welcome Margaret Creer and Darla Butler to the table. Welcome, ladies.
Hi. Thanks for being here.
We're excited.
Twice.
I know. These sweet ladies came in the morning and we're kind of filming in the evening. So we appreciate the love.
Yeah. Dedication.
The double love for us.
And dedication.
I was just so excited.
Yeah, there you go.
We're so glad.
We're so excited that you're here. I wonder what took us almost
This
6 years
long.
to get you here, because I think you guys should be here regularly. You're such a staple in our community and are a wealth of information. So we're excited to hear from you both today.
We are.
How did you originally get involved?
My mother was a Daughters of Utah Pioneers, as well as probably a whole lot of young people nowadays. It was probably their mother, Fern Davis. Richard Davis has a big part in helping us, but my mother said, "Why don't you join? We need more members."
Right.
So
And
she
how
filled
old
out.
were you at that point?
I was probably 20,
Oh, wow. A really young
25,
member.
maybe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, how long
Okay.
have you been?
Since 2009.
Yeah. So she filled out my papers.
Okay.
And they're online now. It's a lot easier. So you can fill out your name and your history, and you have to put in some of your grandparents and your great-grandparents, and you have to follow a line back to before the railroad came to Utah.
I was just reading that. It says you need to be 18 years of age, of good character, and then have a lineal or legal adopted descendant before the railroad.
Right.
May 10th.
So that's
1869.
even people that passed through Utah and stopped here for a pause before they went on to California. If you were born here before then. So it is a descendant of direct pioneer histories. Doesn't mean a religious history or a ethnic group, anyone.
Well, I think we had all determined before we started filming that all of us are eligible.
Yes.
We're
So
hoping we're in good character.
Yes.
That was the question.
Convince us to get involved. Like, what do you ladies do?
We are a historical, educational organization. We collect and keep histories, verbal histories, oral histories that someone's passed down from family to daughter, or son to son. And we keep these, we file them. We have a whole group here in Spanish Fork of them, but we also send a copy up to Salt Lake, and they have hundreds and hundreds of histories. We personally, in our company, we have a company about 300 women in Spanish Fork, Lakeshore, Salem, Palmyra, Benjamin. So we're a company. We have almost a little bit over 300 women, probably 200 that are active enough to do things. But we have outreach programs. We preserve historic land monuments. We Darla just took charge of one a year ago down in Palmyra for Fort Palmyra, which is where they first settled in this area. Wow. And then they, because of not such fertile land, they moved up further here to Spanish Fork.
Really?
So the first settlers were down in Palmyra, and there was a big fort down there, and now it's just a monument.
Okay.
But
Everybody needs to go see it.
yes, and we have many artifacts in our museum. But we also have, every year we have a history book that's written, and it's written by a group of women that change every year. This is the 5th volume of Tales of Triumph. So there's been 4 other books. This is the 5th one. We have a lesson in our camps. We have 14 camps in our company. So each camp has a lesson every month, and they can pick any lesson they're long.
And they take them out of this?
Take them out of the book. So these books literally are histories of different people. Last year they had on Valentine's, and I got to teach the lessons several times, but they had the Cornabys in it. not always is it people from this area. Sometimes it's people from New Mexico or California or some other area, monuments that they keep. But this book this year is going to be fun. It has some people from this area in it, and it tells about survival in some areas. We also have the cemetery, Spanish Fork Cemetery, and I brought the book that Pat Sager put together, and she tells the history in here of in 2007 is when they started the cemetery.
Okay.
And then it fell. I mean, they had the cemetery there. There were hundreds of people buried there.
Is this a historical one?
The historic
Okay.
one.
By my house.
Started, the farmers were moving in and
Yes.
and moving things around, and all of a sudden things were just getting rocks. The headstones were getting thrown into piles, and the Daughters of Utah tried to save it then, and then they got a committee together and decided that it was worth saving. They started looking through the archives in Spanish Fork and found over 100 names of people that are still buried there, some that have been moved to other cemeteries. But she took a couple of years and worked on every single story of the person and where their family was from. And some of them were babies, only lived. It was a hard life. People lived in dugouts when they first came here on the hillside.
Yeah.
So the cemetery was up above the hillside where the dugout houses were. And hard winters, hard
Nothing
flooding.
like now.
Yeah, I mean, we have everything now,
Right.
plus cell phones that we can call and text. But so she took charge of printing this book out, and it's just fun. There's pictures of the old cemetery and the
Now
new.
this book is in a hardbound
It
version
is.
because my mother-in-law gave me this last year for my birthday since I live in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask that
haven't read it.
question. So where can we get access to these or purchase
They're all
these?
down at the museum.
At the museum.
Tell us about this museum, because some people watching may be like, there's a museum here in town? Darla, can you tell us a little bit
We
about
have
that?
a really cool museum. We have a lot of artifacts in there that are pioneer. We also have Spanish Fork's first fire hose cart.
Yeah.
It's not pioneer, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
And it was really pioneer because, they started it, it got to come. We have a lot to look at. And we're open Mondays from 10:30 to 4:30 starting September 1st, but we're closed on Labor Day.
Okay.
So come down. The books are really interesting. We have a lot of histories you can buy. We sell baby quilts. That's what supports our museum. So anything like that is really nice.
We have
Is it just Utah memorabilia that's in there, or just Spanish Fork area?
No.
No, it's all
all
over
over.
because when the pioneers came,
They brought
Brigham Young sent them everywhere. And then they came back, my family is not from here. They're from Emery County, Sanpete County. And so then my mom and dad moved up here. So everything that traveled
came with
came with them.
There's China from Europe, from England and Wales. A lot of the pioneers that came here to Utah came
So
from
just
that area.
anything that's aged
So,
in that kind of category.
There's handmade outfits out of wool. There's quilts that are wool that's scraped and then in the center and then hand stitched. But also
Carded
we
wool.
have
Love that.
a big outreach program. Last year I bet we did over 300 students. We did 270 and one.
The whole seventh
one
grade came.
Came down.
The whole 7th grade.
Oh,
And,
We
they
just brought them in
come
shifts,
through
and
but
they
we-
wore different colored bands for them. We separate them in groups, and I rang a bell, and these ladies got 2 minutes to give their spiel for that area, and they had to move on because we had to have them in and out so we could get the whole 7th
It
grade
is-
through.
I've been through there, and it's really
It's
cool.
fascinating.
And it's right by
cool.
the fire station.
Yes,
just
right
for
next
our
to the
viewers
fire
who
station.
don't know where it is.
On the corner.
Yeah, right
Every
there on
time
Main
I go
Street.
down there, I find ancestors that belong to the Creer family or the Nelson family, and I see a picture and I think, I know that person. They're in my history.
Yeah.
Okay, so my mother, before she passed away, wrote her history.
Yes.
Is that something like that I would give to you ladies?
That's right.
And that you would copy and then send it out?
or you can send them online now. But yes, we'd keep a copy here
Okay.
in our museum, and we'd send it up to Salt Lake, and they keep them digitally up there now too.
I think
That's
she
really
would
awesome.
actually love that.
That's neat.
Yep, she took a lot of time and effort doing that. And
Last-
such great stories.
Last year during COVID, the whole Daughters of Utah Pioneers International Society, that was their big theme, was for us to write our histories. And I don't know, did your camp do yours? So everybody was supposed to write a history. And people forget that we should be doing that now.
Oh, I love that, yes.
The lessons and connections made.
That's all our time today. So we should invite
we'll
everybody
come back.
to,
Yes,
you
have you
do.
come
to
back.
look into their own history and maybe write their own. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Coming up on Studio Chatter, we'll take a look at some shiny and sparkly things. Stay with us to find out more.